Yes, just call me back when you have a chance. Bye. Hi. It's me. I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back.
Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I'm having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me, and I'm glad that you're having a blast. I am so out of breath.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm really trying to help you guys. I need you guys to help me too. Like,
yes,
we'll
ma'am.
do this as a team, but just don't.
So
fucking let me down,
the
please.
reason why we can't, like, I did think about this yesterday, that I would like to sit down with you once we have your text messages and the phone calls, and we can put them in a some type of easily looking, that we can sit down and look at them and compare them, and we can kind of get the context of how everything was going that night. I would like to do that with you. Unfortunately, so the download that we got yesterday is going to take multiple days to be analyzed. I probably won't have it back till next week. And then because you guys did have so many text messages, one of my analysts is working on getting those in order, so we can put something together where we can actually sit down and discuss it. But I do think that's something that I want to do in the near future, sometime probably next week.
I mean, I can do that. I don't mind giving you guys my time. I just need you guys to, like, help me with my employer and try to just help me brace for this media thing.
I'm with you. We definitely need to accelerate the case, because the more it takes, the less sure that they are of situations.
He murdered her. She's out of the picture. You're never going to know if she was pregnant. If he can get away with murder, you're not going to. I got divorced from my wife. You say, do you understand what I'm saying here? If she's gone,
But this.
Don't lead.
Hypothetically,
please.
yeah,
Don't lead
hypothetically, if she,
Okay.
you understand where I'm going. If
Right,
you
but
didn't know,
you're leading into questions that are nothing with your.
if you didn't know though,
Wait, Nick.
that she was there,
Did you hear what I said?
I'm following.
Stop asking about it. She didn't have anything to do with it. She wasn't there that morning. She voluntarily cooperated with law enforcement. She provided us all the information. I'm not going to tell you where she's at. Stop. Leave me alone.
Stop. Leave me alone. And that person speaking, unbelievably, is the Honorable District Attorney Michael J. Rourke, who is serving as the Weld County terms, 3 of them of which he ran uncontested, of course, meaning that there was nobody running against him. Great win. Congratulations, District Attorney Rourke. We are stoked for the end of your term this time. Thank God for the Constitution and term limits, because I think it is very possible, especially considering the information that is going to be forthcoming and disclosed to the public this summer about things that, led by the WOTC investigation research team, we have learned about this crime and various persons' role in the crime. There is a possibility that at the end of his term, we're not saying that the case is going to ever be reopened. It's not going to be reopened. That is not the deal. In fact, on the channel, Unapologetically Me, who does great work and great coverage of this case, and I heard her talking about this, and I share the same objective that it's a perfect environment for him. Oh my God, my microphone was muted that whole time, wasn't it? Oh, guys. I just said great things. Okay, you can hear me now, right? But you couldn't hear me. Is that right? Okay. So the person that was just talking in that intro before that big muted gap when you couldn't hear me, can you hear me now, honey bun? It wasn't that long. How? Thank you, Kevin. Can you hear me now? Yes, it was. LOL. Crafted evidence telling the truth. Okay, so I was just saying the person at the end of that intro there that was talking was the Honorable District Attorney Michael J. Rourke, who, of course, is in the midst of serving his 4th term as the Weld County, Colorado District Attorney. Now, 3 of those terms, the last 3, he ran uncontested, meaning, of course, that he ran unopposed. So Now, I want people to understand, and I was saying when my audio is muted, and I'll say it again, that I was watching the channel Unapologetically Me, who has done great coverage of the Watts case in addition to other cases, and I heard her explaining this, so I'm just going to take her lead and explain it basically the way she did. I really should have clipped it and played it for you all, because I share this same thought. As though we ever want this case to be reopened. We don't want to crack this case back open in the regard that Chris Watts is exactly where he should be. The bastard is serving life in prison, and that's where he deserves to be, and so much more. Unfortunately, it seems to those position, he gets to follow the leader. He doesn't have to be his own person. There is nothing expected of him. He has no responsibilities. There are no demands on him. He doesn't have to put forth much effort to navigate through life. This is perfect for Chris Watts, but nevertheless, I guess that is the most that we can punish him in our mortal world. When he meets God someday, he will have to answer on a different level, particularly since he has never taken any responsibility for the horrible things that he has done, the atrocities that he has committed. But reopening the case is not the objective. There is hope, especially after you, the public, learn what is going to be disclosed to the public that has been learned about this case this summer that was, yes, led by the Watts the Obsession investigation team, that I think is going to change the opinion of many who do not think that this case needs to be further investigated, not reopened, but there can be new criminal charges, a new criminal investigation, particularly under the new leadership of somebody who is not Oh my God, why does my mic keep doing that? I might have to change mics. Okay, so I'm just going to cut. Give me a second. I'm going to change mics here. Let me just play something for you while I'm doing that. What am I going to play?
It's me. I guess just call me back when you have a chance. Bye. Hi. It's me. I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back.
Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I'm having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me, and I'm glad that you're having a blast. I am so out of breath.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm really trying to help you guys. I need you guys to help me too. Like,
Yes,
we'll
ma'am.
do this as a team, but just don't
So
fucking let me down,
the
please.
reason why we can't, like, I did think about this yesterday, that I would like to sit down with you once we have your text messages and the phone calls, and we can put them in a some type of easily looking, that we can sit down and look at them and compare them, and we can kind of get the context of how everything was going that night. I would like to do that with you. Unfortunately, so the download that we got yesterday is going to take multiple days to be analyzed. I probably won't have it back till next week. And then because you guys did have so many text messages, one of my analysts is working on getting those in order, so we can put something together where we can actually sit down and discuss it. But I do think that's something that I want to do in the near future, sometime probably next week.
I mean, I can do that. I don't mind giving you guys my time. I just need you guys to like help me with my employer and try to just help me brace for this media thing.
I'm with you. We definitely need to accelerate the case, because the more it takes, the less sure that they are of situations.
He murdered her. She's out of the picture. You're never going to know if she was pregnant. If he can get away with murder, you're not going to. I got divorced from my wife. You say, do you understand what I'm saying here? If she's gone,
But this...
Don't lead,
hypothetically,
please.
yeah,
Don't lead
hypothetically,
on.
if she,
Okay.
you understand where I'm going. If
Right,
you
but
didn't know,
you're leading into questions that are nothing with your.
if you didn't know though
Wait, Nick.
that she was there,
Did you hear what I said?
I'm following you.
Stop asking about it. She didn't have anything to do with it. She wasn't there that morning. She voluntarily cooperated with law enforcement. She provided us all the information. I'm not going to tell you where she's at. Stop. Leave me alone.
Okay, so let me start with this time. How's my audio right now? Can you guys hear me? And then I'm just going to start all over again. And welcome to everybody who's here. Thank you so much for being here tonight, and happy Saturday night. Usually we do Watch the Obsession Friday Night Live, Date Live, but I had some family obligations last night, and I was also really tired, super long week. So here we are, Saturday night, Watch the Obsession Live. Thank you so much, Honey Bun. I was trying to use a different mic because I have a mic that I use at home and one that I use at work. Oops, I mean when I'm not home to record. And I noticed that I felt like the sound in the mic that I used at work was better. But then when my audio just went on, I remembered I don't use it that often because it does that sometimes. So, all right. So I'm just going to start from the beginning. So I don't know how much you guys heard, and I'm going to have to cut that out of the replay. So if you're somebody that loves to read the chat comments, you're going to have to read it now because unfortunately they may not be available in the replay. So the person that was just talking at the end of that intro was the Honorable District Attorney Michael J. Rourke, who at this point is serving his fourth term as Weld County, Colorado District Attorney. Now, 3 of those 4 terms, Michael J. Rourke ran uncontested, which of course means he did not have an opponent. He basically became District Attorney the second, the third, and the fourth time by default. There was no one running against him. God damn, why didn't we get that organized and get one of us over there in Weld County to establish residency and to become the District Attorney? Why? Let me tell you why. Because I believe, and I think you will believe too, after this summer, when information is this close to the public that we have learned through a research team that, yes, was organized and headed by myself and the channel here, Watch the Obsession, about this crime and who is involved at what stages of committing this crime, you might also believe that there should be a district attorney sitting there in office in Weld County, Colorado, that should pursue further prosecution of this case. Now, that does not mean that we believe that the case should be reopened and retried or anything like that. I mean, at this point, it couldn't be even. But Chris Watts, let it be known, the stance of this channel, myself personally, and I think most of you, is that Chris Watts is exactly where he belongs. He should be serving life in prison. Now, it is a little bit unfortunate to me that by all accounts, all reports of people who do talk to him in prison, they say that he's just as happy as a pig in shit. He's kind of in his element there. He doesn't have any responsibility. Nothing is asked of him. He just has to play follow the leader. Of course, he's in prison. We can all imagine what that's like. If you don't know what that's like, and some people know, some people can easily imagine. Chris Watts does not have the personality composition where he ever really manifested into his own person. He was always following the strongest woman in his life. And then when he found the next one that was more appealing to him in true narcissistic fashion, and I do not know if he's a covert narcissist or not, but this is a narcissistic trait. He discarded, the previous important person in his life in exchange for the new shiny new model, right? But what I do believe, and what many people believe, and this is what I think should happen, is there should be new charges brought about. There should be perhaps prosecution after a complete, thorough, and real investigation, and then appropriate charges that may or may not be brought, new prosecution of a new person who had a hand in parts of this tragedy that are, I promise you, criminal. I mean, many of you already know that. And that's, kind of the goal when we say we are in pursuit of complete justice in regards to this case. So I don't want people to misunderstand that and think by any means. There's been a whole new rash of comments recently, people saying, oh, you think Chris Watts should be freed? Hell no, I don't think that. What do you think, I'm crazy? But I do think that there is incomplete justice. Absolutely. I know that there is, insofar as that everybody who should have been investigated in relationship to this crime, charged and then tried by a judge or jury of their peers, is guaranteed to us by the U.S. Constitution. That has not happened. So welcome to all of you who are here tonight. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here, for your support of the channel, and for justice, and also just for being part of this really awesome community. I'm just going to read a few comments here. Then we are going to get into listening to the complete interview of the November, where'd that come from? I think it was when Chris pled, that was in November. I was just kind of running that narrative through my mind too to see if I want to talk about that, but let's stay on track. The complete interview, the phone interview, the second phone interview between Nichol Kesinger and District Attorney Rourke that is on August 21st, which just makes me realize in the title, it may have said the 17th, which is the one that we listened to during the last live stream. But this is the second one. It is a rather lengthy interview. It is about 1 hour and 45 minutes long. So everybody get ready, get comfortable, get a snack, and get ready to listen to that entire interview. Now, both of the phone interviews that Nichol Kesinger did with CBI agent Kevin Kobach were partially redacted. It just about halfway through the interview, the sound mysteriously drops off. And What's the Obsession found the transcripts of the remainder of the interview. And yes, they were very, very hard to find. Now, somebody came into chat when we were listening to the last phone interview that was half redacted last week and said, oh, another channel would play this. It was Plunder. And I love Plunder. And if I heard this first on Plunder, I'd give Plunder all the credit in the world because Paula is amazing. And we love you, Paula. You've done so much for justice in so many regards for so many people and in so many cases. I personally had never heard it before. As far as I know, it only exists on this channel. If it exists elsewhere, God bless you all. I want this information to be out. Now, the most important thing about, first of all, understanding when and where this interview is partially redacted is that it is at the point just before Nichol Kesinger starts giving details, the only details that are known to this day that are given by Chris Watts or Nichol Kesinger about the 111-minute phone conversation. Interestingly, it is about 90 seconds before she starts talking about that this interview is redacted. Is that a coincidence or not? Nobody will ever know that other than the person or people that redacted this interview, but I have my suspicions, and I'm wondering what yours are. Up here is a diagram, a calendar of when Nichol Kesinger gave her interviews. So it's the 15th. That was her FBI interview. I just put out a video that does a deep dive into talking about what the FBI's designation of Nichol Kesinger as being a witness whose identity should be protected, which was granted to her on the same day, August 15th, 2018, that she did the interview with them, just 36 hours or so after the family had disappeared. Very curious. That is something I had been researching for a very long time. And it was just last week when I finally hit the jackpot and got some answers to that question. So definitely go watch that video. If you haven't, I will put the link to that video in the description. So then she did interviews with the CBI on the 16th, the 17th, the 21st, and the 23rd. Now, where there's a P next to our beautiful Skanky Empanada there, Nichol Kesinger, that means it's a phone interview. And those are on the 17th and the 21st. The 17th is the one we listened to last week. And again, the 21st is the one that we are going to listen to today. Okay. Let's see. Cuff You says, I'm just kind of randomly picking comments here because I've been yapping. I haven't had a chance to read them. And welcome again to everybody coming in. Please do hit the like and share the link. I appreciate y'all. Cuff You says, I've always said I wish Tammy Lee had got a hold of NK because that would have been an interrogation. I agree. Or even better, honestly, ideally, in my ideal world, Graham Coder would have interviewed her because I think that he is well, trained, skilled, experienced, practiced, and I think that would have been a real interrogation. But yeah, I think Tammy Lee would have been a step up from from Kevin Kobach as well. Char Troyer, and welcome, Char. How are you doing? Says it was an interrogation. It was only an interview. She initiated and barely an interview, right? She was never properly investigated. Amen. Shocking and disgusting how she was simply let off and not fully investigated. That's right, Char. I totally agree. And welcome to all of you coming in. I see some new people. Diane, Bridget. Hey, Justice A through Z. Renee, Walk Away. Pepper. Smart Ass Patriot. Great name. Welcome. How are you doing? Hey, Shay. Great to see you, my darling. Crafted Evidence Podcast. My friend of the channel, has her own channel to go check it out. Pepper, Honey Bun, our wonderful moderators. Nilda, so great to see you. Hey, Thunder Chick. How's it going? Great to see you as well. Susan Peterson. How are you doing, darling? Hey, Warning Label Nina. Another wonderful moderator. Let me just say hello to a few more people. Hi, Chelsea. How are you doing? Tammy. I'm going to call you Tammy W. I'm sorry about the audio, Tammy. Hopefully you're still here and listening. I know I saw Kevin. I'm always so happy when I see Kevin. Kevin is a great guy. Also one of our fabulous moderators. He is also the oil field expert that I interviewed in a live stream we did about 2 months ago. It's a really popular live stream. A lot of people have rewatched it. Kevin answered every goddamn question we have ever had about what could have happened at Survey 319 from the perspective of an oil field expert. He's a 20-year veteran in that profession. He has driven the fleet work truck that Chris Watts was driving, has worked in the exact same environment at those oil batteries that Chris Watts worked at, and really is truly an expert in that field. So thank you for that, Kevin. Hey, Clark, how are you doing? Welcome. Geraldine McCauley, welcome. How are you doing? Angel D, hope you're still here. Great to see you. I'm going to go back down to current time, and I just said hello to a chunk of comments in time. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. Hi, Amanda Hughes. Say hello, and I will try to say hello back. Hi, Veronica. How are you doing? Welcome. It's great to see you. Vixen, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, got to watch later. We need to know more. 111-minute phone call. Yeah, this is the only interview in which any information about that phone call is divulged, and it is quite interesting. We will stop at that point and talk about it. Hey, Carolina, how are you doing? It's great to see you. I'm so glad you are here too. Hey, Sherry K, welcome. It's wonderful to see you. And Carolina, thank you so much for becoming a member. Hey, Loco Jazz Hands, great to see you on this Saturday night. Oh, I'm so happy you're happy to be here. Head back down to current times. Hi, Michelle G. Michelle G asked, why were they so tough on Trent Bolt compared to NK? That is a good question. I personally believe, and I looked into the possibility of Trent Bolt being somehow involved, either as somebody that Chris Watts did have an affair with, or other people think that he is a friend or acquaintance of Nichol Kesinger, and he was inserted into the investigation as kind of a red herring or something like that. I've looked into all those possibilities. I truly don't think he was involved. I truly do believe that he was a dude, or a diva, whatever he'd like to be called, that you're all that Trent Bolt, that's for sure. That maybe wanted his 15 minutes of fame. People do that. There may be something more to it than that, but, I really just am not sure at this point. I'll be honest about that. All right, so let me close down everything else. It's not pertinent to what we are going to be talking about. And let me get the August 21st interview keyed up here, and I'll bring it in the stream, and we will get started. And again, thank you guys so much for being here. Please do hit like, all those YouTube things. It helps the channel so much, and that's all that we ask of you, my friend. All right, here we go.
I've seen girls smile at me before. Never done anything about it. With her, it was just like she had a leash on me and she tugged me away. And as soon as she walked, I'm like, what the heck is going on? So,
welcome back to Watts, the Obsession. Have you ever noticed that when creators or people in chat are referring to content from Nichol Kesinger's interviews, from one of her interviews, they often do so in not well-defined terms, like, oh, yes, Miss Kesinger said blah, 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 blah. And the first, the second, the third, the interview, the phone, the in-person interview on August the 17th, the 21st, 15th. And it sounds like people don't really know what they're talking about. I'm not saying that to be a jerk, because I totally get it. Nichol Kesinger's interviews and their content and the method and means by which you can hear them, watch them, or read them, it's just not clear. We all know that it took plunder, a lot of time, commitment, and probably some dollar bills to convince the powers that be to release the video footage of Nichol Kesinger's interview with CBI Kevin Kobach from August 16th, 2018. So let me set the record straight regarding Nichol Kesinger's interviews with CBI's Kevin Kobach. There were 3 in-person interviews and 2 phone interviews. The first in-person interview was on August 15th, 2018. The second in-person interview was on August 16th, 2018. The final interview of the 5 was an in-person interview, and that took place on August 23rd, 2018. That's the one when she went to return her phone and she ended up just sitting down, pulling up a chair, getting a cup of coffee or whatever, and talking to Kevin Kovac for a few hours. There were also 2 phone interviews. Those took place on August 17th and August 21st, respectively, in the year 2018. Both of those phone interviews are redacted and or also known as missing chunks of their content. And I'm going to fill that missing information in for you guys. The previous uploaded video interview that corresponds with the previous live stream, I went over the August 17th phone interview between Kevin Kovac and Nichol Kesinger. I played for you the part that was recorded on audio, and then I read for you the transcript after the audio mysteriously cut off. So in this video, we're going to do the same thing for the interview that occurred over the phone between Kevin Kovac and Nichol Kesinger on August 21st, 2018. Now, this interview in particular gets really dicey because Nichol Kesinger goes into details about her communication with Chris Watts during the day on Monday, August 13th, 2018, which is the day that we know, of course, the tragedy happened when Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and baby Nico lost their lives in this mortal world. Rest in peace, sweet angels. We will continue to fight for justice for you.
Bella kind of did. She didn't like it too much.
She didn't like it.
No.
It's fun playing in puddles.
So let's get right into the
Cece was having
interview
a ball in it,
and
right,
see what
Cece?
surprises Nichol Kesinger has for us today.
You want to go back?
Today is August 21st, 2018. This is Agent Kevin Kovac from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, placing a phone call to Nichol Kesinger, also known as Nick.
Oh, guys, before we start, I just want to ask your preference. StreamYard is offering me the beta mode of something here, and let me show you what it is. Let me know if you want this or not. It says show comments on stage. So I'm going to turn them on right now. So this is what, I guess I have to press play so they'll run. I'm going to press play for a minute and let me know if you like that or if you'd rather I turn it off, okay?
Nikki at 720-656-9605. The current time is 6:45 p.m.
Hello?
Hi, Nikki. It's Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
How are you?
I'm okay.
All right. I'm running a recorder, so you know.
Okay.
I just want you to introduce yourself again for the tape recorder. Just say your legal name for me, and then we'll get started.
Okay. Okay. It's Nichol Lee Kessinger.
And your birthday, Nicole?
July 3rd, 1988.
And you go by Nikki, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All righty. So you texted me this morning. We had a brief conversation regarding some new information that you remembered from just reflecting on what's been going on with this case. So you want to start with that? So did you write some things down?
I did. So
Okay.
they're kind of out of order. They kind of just are as they came to my head.
Sure.
So we'll go over them in the order that I wrote them down.
That's fine.
So I was thinking about the whole, what is the name of the stuff she sold for Lavelle?
Thrive.
I'm sorry?
Thrive.
Thrive, that's right. I was like, it starts with a T and I'm drawing a blank. So I started thinking about this whole Thrive thing because...
Yeah, I love how she's like, that product there, what does she sell? He's like, Thrive. She's like, oh yeah, right. Okay, I'm trying to remember. It like starts with a T. Like, oh, come on, Empanada, right? You know. We know you know because you were stalking this poor, beautiful woman since before you even started dating Chris. We know you know. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Tell the truth about something. I dare ya.
I remember that we spoke at the end of last week, and you were asking what I thought of it, and I made it clear that I didn't understand it. And the reason I had a hard time understanding it was because I didn't understand how people who were living sedentary lifestyles and had poor diets were losing so much weight on this program. And Chris was never able to tell me what was in it. Like not always, but when we first met, he was like, you should try this stuff. You should try this stuff. And I never wanted to. I was uncomfortable with it because I didn't know what it was. And I even had looked on their website and I still didn't completely understand it. And so I just I stayed away from that. And not only that, I mean, he told me, the only things he pretty much told me is it gives you energy and it's like a weight loss supplement. And I'm not trying to lose any weight. Like, I don't need that. And I didn't feel like I needed the energy either. So he never pushed it again. And I never, like, he always wore the Thrive patches, and I never questioned it. It was like what he did. But one thing I do remember him mentioning to me when he first tried to introduce me to Thrive was that you needed one patch a day. And when he would hang out with me, he always wore 2.
Okay, so a couple things. First of all, Sherry, thank you so much for the super sticker, the super chat. And I'm sorry you're not feeling well. You take care of you and your girls, and thank you for always supporting the channel. And I hope you're okay. Let me know if I can do anything to help you out. And then also in regards to what was just said, Nichol Kesinger is saying, oh, I just want to let you know that, he always wore 2 of those patches and not 1. And I think you were supposed to wear 1. I've told you this, guys, many times before, and I've done several videos, deep dives into the MLM culture, Thrive, and how that affected their finances and possibly how it played into the whole kind of structure of this crime coming to be. But anyway, I tried the whole Thrive regimen that the Watts were on in part of research for this case. I wanted to see, does it affect how someone feels that significantly? Could it possibly affect your sleep or the way you're thinking so much that, I'm not going to go out and commit some crazy crime, but I wanted to understand it because it does play a part in this case. Now, first of all, the patches that he was wearing at that time, they're called the Duo burn patches. Duo meaning 2. You are supposed to wear 2 of them at a time. They come in a little pair of patches that are pieced together on the little sticker sheet, and they kind of have a zigzag, so they fit together like zigzag puzzle pieces, and you're instructed to wear one on the right side of your body, where on top of skin where there is thick muscle mass, and then one on the other side of the body. So there was nothing weird about him wearing the 2 patches, and I definitely think that she is, putting out all this information about Thrive, first of all, is a red herring. Look anywhere but at me. Second of all, to take as many digs at Shanann as she possibly could. Because, I mean, seriously, listen.
Always wore 2.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Do you remember where he wore them?
Yeah, so he would usually wear one on his left tricep, bicep area, and then sometimes he would wear another one on the right side in the same spot, or he would wear it on his lower back.
Okay.
But he always had 2, and I remember thinking I thought you only need 1 of these. Why are you using 2? And I never questioned it, because for me, I never questioned him about it, because to me, I just felt like since I wasn't involved with that program and I didn't want to be involved, it wasn't really my position to question him.
Sure.
And now I know that there's also supplements that go with it. There's a pill and a morning shaker. There's a lot of stuff that goes with it, but there's a daily routine of 3 or 4 items that you are supposed to take. Now, was he doubling up on those other items? I am not sure.
Do you know if he was following the complete routine?
As far as I know, he was following it. And he had told me that is why he lost a bunch of weight. He said that the reason he lost so much weight was all because of Thrive. And then he said that at some point...
Now about what she's saying about Thrive right here. And also thank you to Honey Bun and Cuffy, who each of them gifted 5 Watts the Obsession membership. So, and congratulations to those of you who won them. I've been doing more members only content recently. And I think I'll probably plan it during this stream, since we're mostly just listening. I want to do a members only live Sunday night, tomorrow night. I keep saying I'm going to do them and then they're hard to schedule. So we're going to do it tomorrow night. It's going to be at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, members only chat. So be looking for that. And thank you guys and congratulations to those of you who won. So Nichol Kesinger is saying, he was doing this whole Thrive thing. And again, he was wearing the 2 patches as he was supposed to be because they're the duo, meaning 2 burn patches. And that he said it gave him a lot of energy. Now, I had to stop wearing the dual burn patches because they had a really strong thermogenic effect for me. They made me feel really hot all the time. I sweat all the time. I felt pretty shaky. I felt like a little amped up, like not in a good way. I think you can feel amped up in a good way, but this was like not in a good way. And also they really did make me not want to eat. And I wasn't trying to lose weight. So I just had to stop using them. So they do. Just from my own experience, I can tell you that they do have the potential to have a strong impact on some persons because I experienced it myself. And that's why I tried the whole thing, was to report out on my experience and to understand it myself.
From July 4th to August 11th is how much weight he lost. Because July 4th was the day that I went to his house and sat down with him and asked him, how much do you weigh? And he asked me, can you just look at my macros and see how much protein people my size that usually eat and all that, and just asked me to glance at it. So that's why I went over there.
So that's when you say his house, that's his house in Frederick that he shared with Shanann.
Yes, that's the one that I told you guys I went to on the 4th. And that was why I went there, was to sit down with him that morning of the 4th and just discuss his goals, and again, I'm not
Now, we know that she is lying here, and this is a perfect example of the depth of Nichol Kesinger's lies and the proof that there has to be something significant, big stakes, as to why she is lying this rampantly to law enforcement. Just listen to those last few words she said again here.
Fitness trainer, so he already had August 11th is how much weight he lost, because July 4th was the day that I went to his house and sat down with him and asked him, how much do you weigh? And he asked me.
Okay, so she's still claiming, she's doubling, tripling down on the fact that on August 4th, she went to his house for the purpose of discussing his weight loss, his nutrition, his macros with him, and providing him with a schedule of getting enough macros where he could obtain his fitness goals. But we know that that is not the truth, because we know that in great detail, and the phone records support it, that Shanann Watts called Chris really early that morning. He'd woke up in Nichol Kesinger's house in her bed. It was her birthday, actually. And Shanann Watts was pissed. And so he is like, I got to go home. Kesinger's in the shower. He yells into her, I got to go home. She's like, are you coming back? He's like, probably not. My wife is pissed. I got to go. So he goes home, and unbeknownst to him, all of a sudden, on July 4th, now this is just less than a week after they each report that they were supposedly dating, and she wasn't even supposed to know where he lived. He lives like half an hour away, but miraculously, she showed up on his front doorstep because she was pissed that he went home because his wife was calling. But the story that she tells Kevin Kobach at another time that she preconceived, and I just talked about this issue at great length in my Ultimatum 2 video that I released about 2 weeks ago. She says that the reason that she was there on July 4th was to talk about his macros. Bullshit. So here, this is her triple down on that lie that otherwise would be completely insignificant.
Can you just look at my macros and see how much protein people my size that usually eat and all that, and just asked me to glance at it. So that's why I went over there.
So that's when you say his house, that's his house in Frederick that he shared with Shanann.
Yes, that's the one that I told you guys I went to on the 4th. And that was why I went there, was to sit down with him that morning of the 4th and just discuss his goals, And again, I'm not a fitness trainer, so he already had an idea in mind. He was just asking me, can you just glance at this and tell me what you think, since you pay such close attention to these things. So anyways,
I'm going to ask you, I think I already asked you and we discussed this once, but July 4th was the first time you went to his house. And then I think you said the following Monday or Sunday was the second and final time you'd been to his home.
I I will have to, it was a Saturday, and I'll have to look it up. It was either hold on. I really just want to, that's July. So the 4th, and then that weekend can be, I think, and I will double check this, but I'm pretty sure, I know for a fact I was at his house on July 4th, and I think the second time I went to his house was Saturday the 14th.
Okay. And those are, if I remember right, you only had been there 2 times, right?
Yeah, like I didn't want to go back. After that second time that I was there, it was like, I don't want to be at this house. Like, if you want to hang out, come to my house. So the 14th was the last time I was there.
Okay.
But back to this, so the Thrive thing. So I was like kind of concerned that he was losing so much weight, but I also wasn't, because he was like kind of fine tuning his diet. But it was enough for me to look at it. Because I was like, well, I mean, it wasn't like a severe weight loss, but it was kind of fast. So I was like, okay, well, are you getting enough calories? What's going on? And I couldn't figure it out, because I was looking at what he was eating, and it was like healthy proteins and vegetables, and he was eating a decent amount of food.
And I just want to point out to you that we know that this is her triple down on this lie that she's telling about why she was at Chris Watt's house on July 4th. And when she is lying, because we know that this is a proven lie, look at how much detail she inserts into those lies.
And I'm just like, how is this man losing so much weight? And then I started thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, oh my God, it's because he was like doubling up on all the Thrive stuff, and he was starting to eat really healthy. So that, I think, is.
So did you see a change in him personally during that time from July 4th, or pardon me, July 4th to August 11th, when he lost that kind of weight?
What did you say? What was the question you asked?
Did you see a lot of change in him? Like, not physical change, but was his personality different, or was it just the weight loss?
No, it was just the weight loss. Like, okay. I didn't think he was any different. But this is the one thing that I wanted to point out to you guys, was that he was always this way. I just want to state that right now. Like, this was not something that started at any certain point. But from the first time that we started hanging out, he always had a ridiculous amount of energy. And it wasn't that he was like super high strung and bouncing off the walls. It was that he could stay up. He like didn't need to sleep. And he was always that way. Like, when we would hang out, oh my God, I would try to get him to go to bed at like 10 o'clock every night. I'm like, if you're going to stay here, you need to go to bed at like 10, because I have to get up and go to work in the morning, and so do you. And he would keep me up like every night. And we usually, I would say, I mean, it kind of fluctuated, but typically I would say that we went to bed somewhere, when he stayed the night at my house on those nights, somewhere between 11 o'clock and midnight every night. And it used to bug me, because it was like, I was so tired.
What time did you wake?
Go to bed.
What time did you usually wake up?
It kind of depended on the day and what I had going on at work, but I would say in between 4:30 and 5 is like a pretty accurate assumption of when I'm supposed to get up for work.
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, so what I would do is I would go to work all day, and then when I would get off work, I would sleep. I would go home and nap, and my naps varied in time. Sometimes it was a half an hour, sometimes it was like an hour and a half. It was like whatever my body needed. And then I would get up, and I would go to the gym, and then after I got back from the gym, he would come over my house, and it would be the same thing, where it was like he would keep me up. And I will tell you, without those naps, there's no way I would have been able to keep up with him. No way. And then. And another thing about that too, and he was always like that, always. And it used to, I could tell like his body wanted to sleep, but like his mind couldn't sleep. And the reason that I say that is because he sometimes I would see him, like he would keep me up. So I'd be like, all right, well, like, let's watch a movie, if you want to hang out. And so we'd be up, and I'd see him like doze off and then like wake right back up, and like doze off and wake right back up.
Okay.
And there was a few times that we were having a conversation and he would be talking to me, Kevin, he would like fall asleep mid-sentence and wake up, like snap. Yeah. And he would.
Did you hear that? How she's like, Kevin, he would like, da-da-da-da. And he sort of like, okay, like nervous laughs. Like she's trying to create this false, like close relationship with him. And she's a bit flirty, I do think. What do you guys think? Let me go back so you can hear that again if you missed it.
Varied in time. Sometimes it was a half an hour. Sometimes it was like an hour and a half.
And also just her selfishly talking about her need for her naps and her nap schedule and her sleep requirements and da-da-da-da here. Like, who the fuck cares? Seriously, shut up.
It was like whatever my body needed. And then I would get up and I would go to the gym. And then after I got back from the gym, he would come over my house. And it would be the same thing where it was like he would keep me up. And I will tell you, without those naps, there's no way I would have been able to keep up with him. No way. And then another thing about that too, and he was always like that, always. And it used to,
listen.
I could tell like his body wanted to sleep, but like his mind couldn't sleep. And the reason that I say that is because he sometimes I would see him, like he would keep me up. So I'd be like, all right, well, like, let's watch a movie, you know, if you want to hang out. And so we'd be up and I'd see him like doze off and then like wake right back up and like doze off and wake right back up.
Okay.
And there was a few times that we were having a conversation and he would be talking to me, Kevin, he would like fall asleep mid-sentence and wake up, like snap. Yeah.
Like you heard it there, right? Like, ew, gross. It's just, I don't know. It's just a little too much. And another video that I had created that I was talking about during last live stream I think it called it the missing text messages between Nichol Kesinger and Kevin Kobach. And there's like 30 pages of text messages between Nichol Kesinger and Kevin Kobach from right after that first interview she did with him, which was on August 16th. Right through up until the end of her interviews with him, which was in the end of August. And there's like 30 pages. And then I interspersed excerpts of the various interviews in the correct chronological point and the chronology of those text messages so you could see how what she learned either through the information exchange through the text messages or in the interviews were morphing the story that she was telling, okay? It's just also obviously a lie. And Jessica, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate you, and it's always awesome to see you here.
And he would like snap out of it like 5 or 10 seconds later and keep talking right where he left off.
That's weird.
Yeah, it always like blew my mind. I was like, this guy must really like me if he is like avoiding sleep to be with me. And it was like, I couldn't do it.
That was kind of funny, but anyway. And Sherry, also, my gosh, guys, you are moderators coming in, gifting the memberships. It's a total of 15. So thank you so much, Sherry, for gifting 5 Watch the Obsession True Crime memberships. And again, congratulations to those of you who won them. And there will be a members only live tomorrow night, Sunday night at 8 p.m. I'm creating it right now. Uh-oh, shoot, I just closed the interview. Oh my God, give me just 1 second. I just gotta go back in my history and grab it. Okay, hold it. I'm just 1 second here, guys. And thank you to all of you who are coming in. You know, please do the YouTube things. Hit like, share the link if you're interested. And hey, guys, if you are new here, would you please say hello and let us know where you're from. We definitely want to hear from you. The only, rule that we have in this chat, in these discussions, is that we ask you that you be respectful to the victims and their family members, and of course to one another. People are very passionate about this case and have different opinions, so we just ask that of you. Other than that, we really want to hear what you think, and we want you to feel comfortable here. This is a safe place for a lot of people to share their true opinions without feeling attacked, and we want all of you to feel that way. So if you are new here, please feel free to share your opinion and definitely say hello and let us know where you're from.
I couldn't do it. Like, I napped probably almost every single day after I hung out with him.
Right. Okay.
Honestly, it was like he was on speed.
So you think the Thrive thing contributed to that, or at least his own drive for losing weight and getting in shape, and maybe his attraction to you drove him, because you're pretty physically fit and he was kind of motivated by that. I think we remember you saying that earlier, that you were trying to help him get in better shape.
Well, Well, and I mean, he was already in good physical shape, and he was already taking care of his health and his diet in the gym. I just think he was like, hey, since you're already in this live a healthy lifestyle, would you be willing to just give me some input?
Okay.
Maybe I can fine tune it.
But do you think that was some of the motivation for him to stay awake long hours and, use maybe multiple patches of Thrive to try to impress you, for lack of better terms?
No, I think it was the Thrive, and I think his body wanted to sleep. I think it really wanted to sleep. I think he legitimately was trying to lose weight, and I think that's what was keeping him up.
Cool.
Because at the end of the day, like, I wanted to sleep, but he just was, like, really restless and didn't seem like he wanted to. But he always seemed, like, really respectful of my wishes, so you would think that he would be on board with that. But it was almost like he, like, couldn't calm his brain, and like I said, he wasn't acting high energy. He just like wouldn't sleep, and I almost think that's what it was. It was almost restless, where it's like, hey, I can't turn off at the end of the night, stay up with me. And he never said that, but that was kind of the impression that I got.
Okay.
And so, and again, the double Thrive patches, I mean, maybe, but I don't really think he was trying to impress me. I mean, he told me, like, I had plateaued on this stuff. So I think maybe he was like, well, what if I double dip?
Mm-hmm.
So,
right. So he's trying to get over.
Sure.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think that was a
again,
motivated.
The point that I was making before, he wasn't double dipping. They're called the dual burn patches because you're supposed to be wearing 2 of them. And I just wanted to say, let's see. Oh, I'm not sure if I'm not going to know how to say your name, but we're going to call you C. Johns. I just left you a comment saying, welcome. We're so glad that you're here all the way from New Zealand. Welcome. Thanks for finding us. And you said that you just found this case like 6 months ago and you're watching everything you can. So I told you I'm going to go put some like 4 or 5 videos in the description of this live stream that if you're new to this case, you need to watch. And I would suggest everybody else watch them if you haven't. I'm going to do that for you in a few minutes. So please definitely check them out. And again, we're so glad you're here.
Thing for him, I think that was because he was already working on the Thrive thing, and like I said, in his fitness, he was doing all that prior to me being in his life.
Okay.
So and I don't know if he was double patching before I met him. He double patched the whole time I knew him. So I don't know if like that occurred once I came into his life, or if he had already started doing that once he plateaued. I never asked.
Okay. All right.
Just found that really interesting, so I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. And that's the kind of things that I want when we talked prior, just to get you to recall things that didn't seem out of place then, but when you reflect back may have seemed out of place now with what you know. So what's next?
I mean, it was scary to me. Like, it was scary that he lost that much weight on that stuff, but I guess a lot of people do, and I keep thinking about it. I'm like, it almost seems like it's a drug.
If you look at any diet, though, I mean, I'm not a fitness guy, but if you read about Atkins or any of these other diets, people lose excessive amounts of weights in short periods of time. So, but whatever. I think it's interesting that this Thrive played a part in it. And quite.
I think he's clearly saying to her here, essentially, like, okay, like, yeah, thank you for just going on for 20 minutes about that crap. But like, let's get to the real material that we need to be discussing here, which of course you probably know when he asks the questions that are actually material to this crime, she tries to obfuscate and confuse and redirect in every possible way. And I've got to give her credit. She's good at doing all of those things, but she don't answer the questions.
Frankly, I am going to get one of these patches to try to figure out what it is. So we'll figure that out at some point. So what's next on your list?
Let's see. Okay. So this is Saturday.
So
this
Saturday would have been.
This is Saturday, the 11th of August.
Okay.
Was that the 11th?
Yep.
Okay. This is the night that we.
Okay, so she's going to talk about the lazy dog date here. Now remember, The murders happened in the earliest morning hours of August 13th. Their lazy dog date was less than 36 hours before Chris Watts' family was annihilated. Shanann walked through those doors of her home for the last time, so sadly, at 1:48 a.m., and Chris Watts' work truck took off to Survey 319 at 5:43 a.m. So it was sometime between those hours of 1:48 a.m. and 5:43 a.m. that the lives of these beautiful people were taken. So this lazy dog date, whether she tells the truth about it here or not, and she's not, spoiler alert, what was discussed during that date is very critical to the outcome of this tragedy.
Attempted to go to the Lazy Dog on 120th and Federal, and we walked in, and I looked at their menu. They tried to feed us, and I looked at their menu, and I was like, I'm not eating here.
Right.
And because so we went to the other Lazy Dog.
I'm sorry, super important. I know I'm telling you a lot, but for those of you that haven't heard me say this before, interestingly, just this past week, 2 people asked about this in comments. So for those of you who don't know, let me tell you the story. Myself and a moderator for this channel, who hasn't been around a lot lately because he's had a lot of other stuff going on, but he is an expert on this case. He and I once talked about this, and we realized we both did the same thing, and we both had the same result of our investigation. Early on in this case, I looked into what she's talking about here. She's going to say that the 2 lazy dogs, she went to one and then they went to another, that they had different menus. That at the first lazy dog, she's like, I'm not eating this crap. And so they went to another. Well, I looked into this, and I talked, not only did I do research online, I talked to a manager at one restaurant, and I talked to 2 people that worked at the other restaurant. And this is what I found out. At that time, the Lazy Dog was a newly franchised business. So a franchise business, you're going to have the same business, and that each location ostensibly has a separate owner, or, maybe someone owns more than one location. But anyway, there's going to be separate ownerships for the different locations. So this is what is done a lot of times when a business, a brand newly franchises, they want the business to be the exact replica of the next at each location. But at each different location, the owners wanted to have a little bit of liberty to give their own personal touch to their menus. So what was allowed was that they were allowed to offer a limited time happy hour menu. I think it was on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays for a very limited time. It was just like an hour or an hour and a half or something like that. I don't remember the exact time. And I never will, because I didn't write that down in my notes. And when they offered those happy hour they were allowed to offer drink specials, 1 mixed drink and 1 draft beer. And to complement those drink specials, they were allowed to offer 1 unique tapas plate, 1, appetizer plate that would be available during the time when they were running those drink specials. It was very limited. Other than that, they had the exact same menu every day of the week and always had. So she's lying here with what she's about to say. And this is a big deal, because why is she lying about this? This didn't happen. So what really did happen? As you're listening to that, you need to ask yourself that question.
It's actually owned by somebody else, so they have a different menu. So we went to the Lazy Dog off of, I think it's 144th that I told you guys, and we sat down and we ate, and
it's on Highway 7, right?
What's up?
Is it on Highway 7?
I don't think so. It's on I-25 and 144th.
Okay.
I mean, I can look it up.
No, that's okay.
Screenshot it.
I think there's 2 of them, and I think there was some confusion. One of our guys went, and I just want to make sure he went to the right one. I don't know the Lazy Dog, but I'll ask him tomorrow. 144th is right by Highway 7.
Okay, well, I don't know that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had never been to that one. So I think it's 144th. It might be 136th. I will look it up tonight, and I will screenshot you the address, and I will send it so that you guys, if you guys need to pull those videos, you can find it. But one thing that I noticed about this is that, so normally when we went out, I try to keep things pretty cheap just to be respectful. I never went to expensive places or anything, and sometimes I would pay for things, sometimes he would. But when he paid, he would always use these Anadarko gift cards, these little gray gift cards, and they were always $25 or $50, and they always came in denominational increments that made sense. And he told me that he got these from Anadarko as rewards for like doing really good stuff at work. And is that true? I don't know. I don't know if, I mean, I know that him and his wife had a lot of financial issues, so I don't know if maybe he's the one who actually wanted to spend all the money, and maybe he was cashing his paycheck in via gift cards so that his wife couldn't track it. I don't know. I don't know. But I think it's something you guys will need to confirm with
were they
Anadarko.
actually in the name of Anadarko? Do you remember, or did he just tell you that they were
would
gift
say,
cards?
No, I've seen them. They
Okay.
say Anadarko on them. They're like little dark silver, like credit cards, but they're like gift cards.
So you're just suspicious that potentially he was hiding money from his wife with these gift cards?
Honestly, no. I think Anadarko legitimately gave him these. The oil industry is pretty good about when our operators do things that are safe, or they do a really good job at something. They usually provide like gift cards or some sort of incentive for it. Just
So they bonus.
Okay, so she's talking about the gift cards there. Now, C Curry Wright, and welcome C Curry Wright, just said, Kelly, are you going to put those videos in a playlist, or what are you going to? What I'll do is the videos that I really want you guys to watch about this case, especially if you're new. I will put them listed in the description for this video, but I will also make them a playlist, as I was just telling C Curry right here, and I'm going to call it Watts Must Watch. So for those of you that are newer to the case, or maybe if you haven't checked them out yet, even if you're not new to the case, check them out. And it's going to be my recommended playlist of Watts videos that you must watch. Okay, so I will do that. I'll be working on it now, and it'll be done, right after the live stream. Okay.
These guys out if they're doing a good job or being extra, like they have no safety violations and stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. So it's like they're like safety rewards. So,
Okay.
So do I think they were legitimate? Honestly, yes. I do. That's something you need to confirm with Anadarko, though, because I wasn't one of their employees, so I don't know.
Okay.
But I did think to myself, like, if they do have money issues, maybe he was possibly concealing it. But the thing, it's not even the gift cards, I think, that are like the main focus on this right now. For me, the main focus that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention is he always paid with those, always. And
Every
then,
time you guys, so we talked about this prior, and let's just revisit it. You guys never really went out on a date per se, with the exception of this Saturday night on the 11th. Usually you guys spent time at your home versus going out, unless I'm mistaken on what you're saying.
You are.
Okay.
So
Now, this question here is important because now remember, this is now the fourth total interview she has had with law enforcement. There were the two in person, one with the FBI, the one with Colorado Bureau of Investigation, the one where their dad was there with Yellow Table. The November 17th phone interview, which is about an hour long, which we listened to last time. And now this phone interview. So this is the fourth total interview she's had with law enforcement. Up until this point, she's been dishonest with them about the level of time that she spent with them and what they did. So he's asking, so wait, let me get this straight, Nichol. From what you're saying, you only ever went out on a date with him this one time, and it was just this past Saturday, just a few hours before the murders. Now, this is what she has to say to clean up her lies to law enforcement. And by the way, lying to the FBI is a federal crime. And she did lie to the FBI. It's a federal crime.
Most nights would hang out at my house, but we went out a few times. I have dates for everything, and I can give you that once I'm done with this. The reason that this caught my attention was not because of the gift cards, it was the lack of the gift cards. So when we went out to dinner, he went to pay the check, and I noticed that instead of using one of the Anadarko gift cards, he had a baby blue credit card in his hand that he used to pay.
Okay.
And I just remember thinking to myself, like, why isn't he using any of those gift cards? I'm pretty sure he still has a balance on one of those, but I couldn't remember. And then I was like, maybe, because, at this point, he had made it clear to me that they were, like, filing for divorce. Like, it was, like, done. So I was like, well, maybe he just doesn't really care anymore, you know? But then another part of me was like, but technically they're still together, so why would he do that? And like, I didn't ask because like he had made it sound like by that Saturday that they were so far removed from each other that I was like, it's plausible that now he's just not like has nothing to cover up, you know? But then at the same time, I still feel like until your divorce is 100% completely final and you're out of that house, why would you do that?
Sure.
I mean, so again,
So you just found it was a little bit suspicious that he used a credit card versus the gift card.
Wait, now Bridget makes a really good point. And Bridget, I had actually forgotten about this, but you're right. My research and my channel's research has shown that you are right. So Bridget, and welcome. Bridget Morgan says, beautiful picture. Says supposedly she is the one who would be handing out these gift cards and she was a safety person there, but she acts like she is lost and confused about it all. Really good point. Apparently from, again, the research that we did learn that she was the one that would hand out those gift cards. Super good point. I had totally forgotten about that. There's so many details to this case, and I'm so glad you said that.
It was like he had nothing to hide,
right,
or nothing to lose. He was just like, yeah, I'm going to pay with this, right, and I don't care.
Okay. So, and that would certainly be, if it was a credit card, just thinking, would be something that maybe his wife would see at some point, and he would have to then have to explain that. So in your mind, he's like, oh, well, we're divorced, or I don't care anymore. She's going to find out that I have a girlfriend.
I don't really know what he was thinking. I mean, I can't think for that man. I mean, I can't even process half the shit he's done or the lies he's told at this point. So I don't know. I just think that was extremely peculiar because he had never done that before, and it didn't seem like a big deal to him.
All right. I get where you're going. So it kind of made you think that he didn't have anything to hide anymore.
No, not at all. And again, you know, I mean, there was other parts of our relationship where it's like he talked to me on the phone pretty freely, like all the time, you know. So for me, like it never really seemed like on the phone like he had to hide anything at all. And that's why, you know, when he's telling me, yeah, we're getting separated, yeah, I'm sleeping in the basement, like it didn't even like occur to me like maybe this isn't happening, because it was like he was so liberal about his communication with me, even if they were in the same house together at the same time. And so for me, I was like, all right, well, maybe she's upstairs, he's downstairs, they're separated. It doesn't really matter if he makes a phone call. And so that he was always liberal with. But when it came to like paying for things, it was always the Anadarko gift cards. And again, like, I don't know if that's because he was hiding it from her or if that was because he happened to have these gift cards and why not spend those as opposed to like the money in your bank account. I mean, I don't know. I just noticed that one last time that we hung out, that he paid with a credit card, and I was confused because I was pretty sure that he still had a balance remaining on like one of those Anadarko cards, but I don't know. I don't know.
All right. What's next?
All right. And then let me just give you a date real quick.
Sure.
For the things when we were out in public. So
wait, so before she moves on here, I just want to read a couple comments. Local Jazz Hand says, I agree with this. This is absolutely psycho stalker crazy behavior. Who the fuck watches how somebody pays for things? Only crazy obsessed people who are making it their business when it's not. And likewise, Sabrosa said, where's your comment, Sabrosa? There it is. Oops, let me get up to where I can pin it. She memorized his gift card balances, but she's not concerned about money, right? And can't remember details about like other really important things. Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Yep.
I think I have these right. I hope I have these right. But on Sunday, I think it was Sunday the 5th, I think.
July 5th?
Yeah. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. I'm glad that you're paying attention to this. Yeah. So I think July, I'm going to start at the beginning.
Okay.
So I went out of town for my birthday. I came home on July 3rd, which is the night of my birthday. On the 4th of July, I went over his house in the morning and helped him with his meal plan thing. And then after that, I went to the 4th of July Rockies game with one of my friends. And then on the 5th, I think it was the 5th, I don't remember, we went to go see a movie. And we went to the movie theater that is up by that lazy dog, I think, on 144th and I-25.
What movie did you see?
That new Jurassic Park movie. I don't know what it's called.
Okay.
And I remember we got there, and the first showing was sold out, I think. I don't remember. I think either we were going to go see another movie and it was sold out, or that one was sold out. So but when we went up there to start with, it was sold out. And so we left, and we went and walked down to these benches that were right across from the Victoria's Secret. And I don't know what corner of the building that would be on. If you guys need me to go up there and try to figure it out.
No, I'll figure it out. That's okay.
Yeah, and we sat in these benches on this bench under this tree and just bullshitted until the next showing of the movie. And then we went to the second showing of the movie, and it was really late. I want to say it was 9 something
p.m.
Yeah, it
on
was
the
late.
5th.
And I want to say I don't even want to say it's Sunday because I feel like it was not Sunday. I don't think it was my birthday though. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I might have all my dates mixed up. If I have all my dates mixed up, just
that's okay.
That
you're getting us close.
You'll find it. Okay. So then, let me go back to no. I was looking at August. That's why the date sounded weird. It was either the 6th of July or the 7th of July.
Okay.
I was looking at the wrong month.
So Sunday the 6th, pardon me.
No, I think, because that's what I'm saying, I didn't think it was a Sunday. So it was either Friday the 6th
okay.
or Saturday the 7th of July. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong calendar. So because I remember that was our first outing. That was our first date, and it was the weekend right after my birthday week. Okay. So it had to have been, either probably the 6th or the 7th. And then we didn't go anywhere again until the next weekend. And that weekend, on Saturday the 14th, that's the day that I went to his house, we went up to Boulder, and we went to the Shelby Mustang Museum. So this was July 14th.
Okay.
Yeah. So we went up there, took a tour, and then after that, we left. And
do you remember what time that would have been?
That we left?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, what time do you think you got to the museum?
Oh, God. I don't even remember.
Morning, afternoon, night?
I think it was pretty, decent time in the morning. I bet you we got there at, 11 or so, because I remember it took us probably, an hour and a half to walk through it. I think it's a small museum. And then after that, we were going to go to lunch in Boulder, and then we decided not to. And then we went to his house, and I dropped him off because I had picked him up to go to the museum. So I dropped him off at.
You're driving your 4Runner?
Yeah, we drove my 4Runner all the time. I told you I was only in his vehicle one time, and I think it was so he could go get gas or something. Everything, all of these adventures were all done in my truck.
Okay.
So then we went to his house, and we were over there for a little while, but then I was just I don't really want to be here. So I left, and I left him there. He didn't go with me.
At his home?
Yeah, I left him there.
Okay.
And I left by myself. And then the weekend of the 21st, and this is how you'll know if my dates are lined up. I would base it off of this date and work your way backwards. But like this weekend, I went to Vandermeer Speedway with him, and I went and saw, I think it was called the Mopar Mile High Nationals. It might have been called Thunder on the Mountain. I don't know. It was the drag races though, and it was Saturday the 21st.
Okay.
And we were there like the majority of the day. I think we got there like early afternoon, and we were there till it ended pretty much.
Was that?
So you hear her talking about all these dates that they went on, all the things that they did and how extensive they were, and, you know, all of the things that they did. So, I mean, what a huge lie by omission it was to mislead law enforcement until this time when she's talking about it right now, which was her 4th interview with law enforcement. So now they are on, I just calculated it, they are on the 7th to 7th and a half hour of her interviewing law enforcement, and she finally discloses that information. I think that's a pretty big lie. Leave a comment in the chat here. What do you guys think?
Late in the evening?
Yeah, those things go pretty late. Like, it gets dark.
Okay. So you drove, did you pick him up again and then drive your truck or your 4Runner, right? It's a 4Runner? Drive your 4Runner?
I didn't pick him up. No, I didn't pick him up again because I never went back to his house. Like, he came to my house and then we carpooled.
Okay. So he drove to your house. You guys carpool down to the Mile High Nationals and you stay the majority of the day. Is there anybody with you guys on any of these dates, or is it just you two?
It's just us.
Okay. Did you have meals anywhere after you left there? Did you stop at any bars or anything?
Okay, so that day, I'm glad you brought that up. Prior to going to Vandermeer, we went to, what is the name of that little town? It's not Evergreen. It's like in between Lakewood and Morrison.
Morrison,
We went to
okay.
Morrison. And there's a patio bar there. I do not know what it is called. It's on top of an Italian pizza place. I think it's literally called like the Morrison Grill or Morrison Patio Bar, like something real simple. And we went, it's just like a rooftop bar.
And you went before the drag races?
Yeah, we went before the drag races.
Okay.
And we hung out, there probably for a while. I think we were there for a little while. We ate there. So that's where we got
So
food.
you ate lunch there?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Tacos.
Okay.
This is a really good bar, by the way. Yeah, so we did that, and then we went to Vandermeer, and
I wonder if that's where he came up with a pet name for her, his sexy empanada, which of course on this channel we have transformed into the skanky empanada, if some of you are wondering why I call her that.
And I don't know what we did after Vandermeer. I think we just went to his house. I'm almost positive. Like, I don't think we did anything after that because it was pretty late.
Okay.
And then on the weekend of July 28th through the 29th, we went to the sand dunes. We went to the Great Sand Dunes National Park.
Down in Alamosa?
Yes.
July 28th, 29th. Did you guys stay anywhere?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Where did you stay?
Oh, we camped.
Okay.
We camped. I don't remember the name of the campsite, but if you like, just let me go through probably like my old phone nav or like go through just the internet and try to look up campsites, I can probably come up with the name for you.
Well, let me ask you this. There was some attachments that when I was looking at some of your phone stuff today, although very limited, there's a man with a backpack. He's got a beard. He does not look like Chris to me in your photo.
Oh my God, it's Leave Jim Alone.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, is he like a little heavier set?
Yeah, I'd say he's a little bit bigger.
Yes, that is my friend Jim. That is the one that I was with on the Monday and Tuesday of last week.
Okay. So there is some photographs. You mentioned the museum, the car museum. I think I remember seeing a couple photos of cars, and it didn't strike me as anything then. So there may be a little bit more on your phone than what I think. But there is definitely no photos of Chris. And I don't remember seeing any pictures of the sand dunes. But so did you?
Well, of course there was no photos of Chris, and of course there was no photos of the sand dune because she already told you, dumbass. She erased it all. I removed it.
Camp inside the national park there?
No, it was outside. I think we camped at Zapata Falls. I think that's the name of the campsite.
Yep, Zapata Falls.
Zapata Falls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's before
Zapata.
you come to you turn off 160 and you're going towards the sand dunes, and then you turn off and kind of go up a 4-wheel drive road to Zapata Falls.
Yeah, that was like really gnarly one with all the switchbacks and the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
There. And so we camped there.
Was it like an established campground, or was it just dry camping?
No, it was an established campground. There's a campground up there. Like, you hang that left to go to the Zapata Falls Trail, and then you go right, and there's like a big campground loop.
Okay. So that's where you guys were there.
Yep.
All right. Keep going.
And then we went to the sand dunes, not the first day. So we got there fairly late on. How did I do that? How did we do? No, that's right. So I need to think about this. I really need to think about this. Saturday, we got there, we set up camp, and then after we set up camp, we went to the national park.
So you went and hiked the sand dunes?
Yeah, we tried, and I just remember it was super windy. Oh my God, the sand hurt so bad. It started raining. And we stayed even though the weather was bad because there was like nobody up there. And so we did that for most of the afternoon. And then we came back to the campsite, and I showed him how to light a fire because he'd never done it before.
He'd never lit a fire?
No, he's never been camping before. He told me he'd never been camping before. And I was like, well, if you want to go, I'm trying to go to sand dunes. So that's why we went, because he said he'd never done it.
Okay.
So
did you guys visit any, there's not really very much stuff around there. There's no restaurants or anything in that area?
No, we did stop at I think it's called like Oasis or something. It's like it's like on the way to the dunes. It's not in the park, but it's like on that road that you take to get to the dunes. And it's almost like a little gas station. And we stopped there and we rented a sandboard to go sandboarding on. And I think we got more ice for the cooler, and we got firewood.
So it's like a gas station?
Kind of, but it's like the one-stop shop that everybody goes to because there's like nothing else around there.
Right.
Like I'm almost positive it's called the Oasis, and they actually have their own campground back there too. But
okay,
it's like
I know
on that road.
Mm-hmm. It's right before you get to the entrance to the park.
Yep. Okay. On the right-hand side when you're driving in. I'm glad that you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I worked in Southern Colorado for the last 5 years, and I spent a lot of time around Alamosa and in the San Luis Valley. So I know a lot about that area, unfortunately. So I know what you're talking about. So
good. That helps me.
So you got ice and firewood.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if we got ice. I think we did just because I like to re-up on ice every time I go
paid for
camping.
it?
He did.
Okay. Did you think he used the debit or the gift card again?
Probably, because that was the plan in the first place. He was just like, well, hey, I've got these gift cards. If you want to use them, you don't even have to spend any money, and we can just use these. And I was like, well, that's great. So I remember for the trip, I filled up my gas tank, and I paid for gas, and I bought a little bit of groceries for the cooler. And then he took care of, like, the campsite and the board and the firewood and all of that.
Okay.
Like, I didn't actually go into that Oasis place, I don't think. I'm almost positive I didn't go in there. He did. I got in line for the board. I remember that. But their like little board rental shop is like outside of the building.
Okay.
So he went inside because he went and got firewood. And then we went to the dunes.
I'm just looking at your dates, so you know you're right. The Bandimere Speedway, the Mile High Nationals was July 21st.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I was going to say.
yep.
Get online and see if that matches.
It does.
Okay, so
we're
then
good.
all those other dates should be good. The only one that I'm not 100% sure about is the movie. It was that weekend, that movie on the 6th and the 7th. It was that weekend. I just don't remember what day of the weekend. I don't think it was a Sunday, though. I really think it was a Friday or a Saturday. Like, I'm almost positive I didn't have to work in the morning.
All right. So what's after the Great Sand Dunes?
Okay, so we went to the dunes, and then we went and returned the board, and then we went back to the campsite, and we lit a fire, and we ate, and we just hung out by the fire for a few hours and just visited, and then it started raining really hard. So we put everything in the tent and put out the fire, and we went in the tent, and I remember he was like wide awake, and I was so tired, like, oh my God, I wanted to sleep so bad, and he just like would not sleep, and it was kind of bugging me. Like, I would like almost like wake up and like half subconsciously like have a conversation with him for a sec, and then like doze back off. And I just remember being so tired, and he was up probably for a while.
Okay. And
then
so you guys come back to the Denver metro area on Sunday?
Kind of. Yeah, but we went, one of my friends wanted us to go to the Renaissance Festival, and she didn't know who I was with, but she was just like, the Renaissance Festival in Colorado Springs, and she was like, oh, you should stop by, and I made up an excuse to not go over there. I just told her, I was like, yeah, I don't really know, and I like kind of got out of it because I didn't want her to meet him.
I got it. What friend was that?
Charlotte.
Okay. So did Charlotte ever meet Chris?
No, none of my friends ever met him.
Okay.
And then on the way back up, we stopped in Colorado Springs to eat, and we stopped at a restaurant called BJ's.
On Nevada and I-25?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I just remember.
Right by the University of Colorado, there's a bunch of buildings, and it's a big strip center. There's like a Costco.
Oh, wait, I think I remember the Costco. Because don't you kind of have to like from the highway, you can like see, or not the highway, but that main road, you can like see the Costco, and then you have to kind of like turn in and around into that shopping center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. BJ's, it's more like a brew house, I guess, kind of.
Yes, and it's like really nice, that place. It's just like, it's like a nice restaurant. I mean, not like nice, but it's just like,
okay.
It's a decent place.
So that would have been...
It's a big place. That's what I was looking for. It's a big restaurant.
Sunday, July 29th? Would that have been Sunday, July 29th?
Yeah, it was Sunday, July 29th. And if you walk in the restaurant, so picture walking in, and the front doors are behind you, we were sat to the right on the like first level. Like there's like a few different levels. So we were sat on the right side, and then in the right side, we were on the like left portion of the section on the right side. Like there's these little like single seater booths. They're really small.
Okay.
So almost like in the center of the restaurant, almost, but just like kind of on the right section of the main floor.
Okay.
Okay. So
did he again pay with a gift card at that time?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And then we went home.
Okay. Did you see him the following weekend?
No, because he was out of town.
Okay. Do you know where he went?
Yeah, he went to North Carolina.
Do you remember the dates?
No, I think, I want to say that he left on the 31st of July. I'm almost positive because we hung out the weekend prior at the sand dunes, and then he went to work on Monday, the 30th. I remember that. And then I think he left on Tuesday, the 31st of July. I think. And I don't remember when he got home.
Okay. Next time you guys go out?
Was that Saturday. The 11th.
And you guys.
And that was
the lazy.
Yeah, the story. Yeah.
Okay. So we got that all down. What's next on your list?
Sorry, I forgot about all that stuff, and then I didn't.
That's all right. So we ran through something that the first time we talked, you were really tired. The second time you were overly stressed, and you had thought of some very important stuff that you wanted to talk about. So it's fine. And I don't mind talking to you as many times as I have to talk to you to get everything down that could at some point be very important. It's fine.
Understood.
So just don't worry about that. My job is to talk to you and make sure that this stuff is, placed in a report so it's there forever. So it's fine. Again, I just keep telling you every time you when you remember things, just call me and we'll get it down. All right.
Okay, yeah, and I hope you guys pull cameras and all that because I'm trying to help you. I'm really honestly disappointed that you guys don't have all my text messages or don't think that you do. It makes me sad. I want you guys to have them. You need them, and it's frustrating to me. But it's I'll just tell you everything I know, and we'll go from there.
That's right.
Hold on. Hold on, what else? Oh, okay. So now let's go to this.
Okay, so obviously, she's like, oh, I really want you guys to have my text messages. I'm just so sad that you do not have them. I really want to help you, which we know is just, total bullshit, obviously, right? So now something interesting was said right there that I actually totally forgot about with this interview, which is one of the reasons I am so glad that I watch these things with you guys. And can you hear me okay? Can you hear my audio right now? Oh yeah, okay, I think you can. Okay, he says, she talks about, he says, okay, so did you hang out the next weekend after the last one that she talked about? And she says, no, because he was away. And she says, where? Yeah, North Carolina. And he says, okay, well, do you know when he went to North Carolina? And she says, yeah, I think it was the 31st because I remember he was at work the 30th. Now, in the ultimatum video, the second one, the part 2 that I released a couple weeks ago, if you didn't watch it, definitely go catch it. It's packed with information, including a new reveal, which I would tell you about right here, but I don't want to give away if you haven't watched it yet. It would be a total spoiler alert. And that is to what set her off that caused her to give Chris Watts an ultimatum. We know what that is, and we know it for sure. She, come hell or high water, in her previous interviews, would not admit in any way, shape, or form to knowing when Chris went to North Carolina or when the family returned back. And you have to ask, now, why is that? Now, I do want to let you know that pretty soon is when the audio cuts out. And it is shortly after that when they start talking about some really important things, including the only information that is given by either Nichol Kesinger or Chris Watts about the 111-minute phone call. So let's keep listening. Thanks, guys, for being here. Welcome to those of you who are coming in. If you're new, please let us know where you're from. Please hit the like. And I'm so glad you guys are here with us tonight.
Last week.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. So Monday, I think probably the most important conversation that I had with him after all of that took place was that first phone conversation on Monday night, the later one. Remember I told you were telling me there's two big ones?
Right.
And the first one was the one where he mentioned the sheets, the smelly sheets with his kids. And that was also the one where he was telling me he was going to go get his wife's wedding ring appraised. That same conversation, I don't remember exactly how he phrased this. I don't remember what led to this, but he told me something about he mentioned that he had told, I don't know what he said. He said something about the separation and how she was okay with the fact that he wanted a separation, or that something like that. And I remember thinking to myself, wait a minute. What? Oh God, I'm drawing a blank. Here's the deal is he had been telling me the whole time that I was spending time with him, that he was getting separated. And he kept saying that he was the one who initially initiated the separation, and then that it was more of a mutual thing. He said that he was the one who had initially brought it up,
okay,
before we had met, and then she was on board with it, where she was just I'm not happy either, let's do this. And then I remember telling you guys that when he was going to go to North Carolina, I kind of backed away from the situation, and I was like, hey, I think you should try to fix things with her because you have a really beautiful life with her, and I think you should try to fix stuff. And he kept telling me I don't want.
So here she is again, tripling down on this total bullshit. Sorry about somebody just said mind numbing, and I want to apply that again here. Idea that she was like, oh yeah, I think you should work on your relationship. You have this beautiful relationship. When you go to North Carolina, I want you to work on your relationship with your wife. So why do you think she is telling that lie? And we can talk about it at the end. I have a pretty good idea.
Want to, I don't think she wants to. And I was just please try, just please try. I just thought he had such a beautiful life, and I was willing to just leave his life. I was if you work things out with your wife, I'm gone. And and that's fine, and he'd always be well, what about us? And I'd be don't worry about us. Try to fix stuff with her. And he said, okay, I will. And then when he went to North Carolina, he told me that he sat down and had a conversation with her, and that he told her that he wanted to fix it. That is what he said to me. He told her that he wanted to fix it, and she said no, that she still wanted the separation, and that she was ready to file for divorce. So I was under the impression when he got home from North Carolina that the divorce was filed. That was what I was under the impression. And so then on Monday, when we were on that one phone call where he was just saying all sorts of weird stuff, he again, I don't remember exactly what was said, but it was something along the lines of she was okay with the fact that I wanted the separation.
Right.
And then I remember asking him, I was like, wait a minute, when you were in North Carolina, you told me that you tried to fix it with her, and she was the one who said that she didn't want to fix it.
Okay.
And he's like, no, and then he goes, no, I just told her that I still wanted, to continue with the separation. And I'm just thinking in my head, he lied to me. God, he fucking lied to me. He lied so much.
Okay. So that just struck you as another lie?
Yeah, so that one I don't, and then now I'm seeing the news where he's telling everybody that he separated from her on, that he said he told her he wanted a separation on the Monday that she went missing. And I'm just thinking in my head, he told me that he had already had that conversation with her before I was even in his life.
Well, and so not to cause you any more stress, but so when you're talking to him on Monday, this is Monday, right? This isn't Sunday. This is Monday.
No, this is Monday.
So this is after the event. This is after the murders.
Yes.
He is telling you that she mentioned that she was okay with the separation, although now that that wasn't accurate. That was something different than he had previously told you, and certainly she couldn't have been really saying anything, unfortunately. So, I mean, he's making up stories after his wife is deceased. Is that a fair statement?
Well,
is that I'm kind of trying to follow where you're going.
I don't honestly. It just struck me as odd because I don't know if he was talking about the conversation they had had that day or if he was talking about North Carolina. But either way,
it just struck you as
weird.
A lie.
It struck me weird because he said that he was the one that was like pushing for it now, and I was just thinking in the back of my head, like he made it sound like when I first got into his life that he was the one who had brought up the separation, but that she was like super gung-ho about it. Like he made it sound like she was all on board with it. And then when they were in North Carolina, he's the one who said that he tried to fix it and she didn't want anything to do with it. So it was weird to me when he was saying that he was the one that initiated the separation, because I'm like, wait a minute, like, and I think it was weird to me because I think he was referring to either whatever happened on Monday morning or he was referring to whatever happened in North Carolina. And I was just really confused because I was like, well, at that point, I thought she was the one pushing you away, like not you pushing her.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
So I don't, it's just a lie. I mean, honestly, I don't know if it has any significance, but it was just a lie that I caught him. And I think everything he told me was a lie, but it was like a lie on top of, it's a lie that contradicted the previous lies that he had told me.
I understand. What's next on your list?
Let me see. Okay, so then in that same exact conversation, two more things happened.
Okay.
One, I was asking him about his daughter's EpiPen because I know that Cece has that tree nut allergy.
Okay.
And I was like, again, like, I don't remember like word for word, but it was something along the lines of like, she didn't take your daughter's EpiPen? And he was like, no. And I was like, well, aren't you a little worried? Because I was like trying to do my own reconnaissance, and I was like, aren't you worried about that? And he's like, well, we have like a stash of them in the basement or something like that. And he's like, she probably just took one of those. And I just thought it was weird because several weeks earlier he had told me how expensive EpiPens were. So I'm like, if they're not expensive.
Okay, and this is when our audio is going to cut out. So before we get into that part, now remember, it's shortly after the audio cuts out when she reveals the only details about the 111-minute phone conversation revealed by either herself or Chris Watts in the entirety. So Mary Bywater says here, she is saying that because she rang him every night whilst he was there and was jealous in North Carolina. She is rewriting history. She is distorting the truth to protect herself. Yeah, like she's a nice person. Right, exactly. I think that all of these lies that she is telling in this interview, the ones where you're like, where the hell did she come up with this? Why is she talking about this? Is because she now knows in that video that I was telling you about. I'll put a link for in the description again. It's the missing text messages between Nichol Kesinger and Kevin Kobach. It shows all of the text messages that were between she and Kevin Kobach, and then it disperses little interview segments in between in chronological order so we can understand what it is she learned about what law enforcement know and how she responded to it with her lies. And I think Mary Bywater's right here sums it up perfectly. It's the reason behind many of her lies that otherwise seem completely senseless. Okay, let's go on.
How do you have a stash? You don't have a stash. Nobody can afford a stash.
Right, they're very expensive.
Yeah, so I almost was like...
Again, the audio mysteriously cuts off. It sounds like there's some glitchiness happening. I don't know. But when you hear this, I'd like to know your opinion. Do you think this audio cut was intentional or was it a technology glitch? So they're talking about Celeste's nut allergy and EpiPens, and Chris saying that they had a stash of EpiPens in the basement. So Kobach says, right, they're expensive. Kesinger says, and yeah, I almost was like, so at the time, like, I didn't think anything of it. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, that was a lie too. And so, okay. So there's that. And then also in that same conversation, so then I started questioning him about why he didn't go to the office on Monday. And I was like, and again, like, it's not an abnormal thing for him to not go to the office, but it's less common. Like, I would say it happens maybe once, like every couple weeks, or maybe once or twice a month. Like, it's pretty like it occurs, so it's not like extremely abnormal. But I just thought it was ironic that his wife was missing and he wasn't at the office that morning. Okay. And so, here's the deal. So Sunday night, he told me I have to go straight to the field. I mean, I guess that's something else you probably want to know. Okay. So I didn't think of that. So Sunday night during which conversation? So one we're talking about now? You referred to it as your first conversation. I don't remember. You had two that were lengthy. One, I believe, was from 9 to 11 at night. And we had talked a little bit. It was about this previously, about him saying that he wasn't going to go to the office. Yeah, so I'm sorry. It's like I jump around sometimes. That's okay. When I start remembering stuff, so the big conversation that we're talking about, the really important one where he like gave me all those like weird one-off details, that he was the first long conversation on Monday night. I don't know what time that was, but that was like the first long one where he said all of that stuff. Like, all of that was in one conversation. That and when you say all that stuff, like the smelly sheets, talking about the ring, the wedding ring. Okay. The weird part where he slipped up about like him being the one to push the say, okay, gotcha, them separating and not her. So, and and then the EpiPen thing, and then all of that. And then so back to Sunday, August the 12th. That night, I believe we only had one phone conversation. I looked at it. I pulled up my phone records today, and I'm pretty sure we only had one phone conversation. And then I think I just went to bed. Okay. But on Sunday night, the phone conversation, that's the one where I heard the TV on in the background, and I was like, maybe he's staying up waiting for her. Do you remember I told you guys that? Yes. I was like, I think it was really weird that the TV was on because he talks to me when he's in bed, and he wasn't in bed. So this is the same conversation. In that conversation, he told me, I have to go straight to the field tomorrow. And he was just like, like I'm not going to get to see you in the morning. And I was just like, all right. And I was like, why? And just like, I got to go. He's like, I got to go check out a site and like a release in the morning. And a release is like when the oil industry has like a release of any type of like oil products or anything, like from any of our equipment. And I was like, I remember asking him, I was like, well, why would you have to go check out the release? You're not part of the environmental team. So when you say release, is that he was like a spill? Kind of, yeah. I mean, I don't want to call it or like something's leaking or because, yeah, like something's leaking. Like, okay. Anything that's involved with the oil and gas industry, anytime, like, so like if a piece of equipment leaks, I mean, you've got to think they've got millions and millions of pieces of equipment. Like, sure, it happens. And so he's like, I have to go check out a release. And I remember asking him, I was like, why do you need to go do that? You're not part of the environmental team, because like our field operators, they will find releases and they'll call our environmental team, which is like who I work for. They don't call me though, because I'm not the one that deals with that stuff, but they do call people like in my department and they say, hey, I'm on this job site and like a tank battery is leaking or like oil tanks leaking or something like that. And then we go out and assess it and clean it up and so on and so forth. So it's noted unintelligible. So those are actually specialists that go out and clean this up, and he's not one of those people. No, he's not. But sometimes, like, those guys, like, his job is important to, like, shut in oil wells if there's a leak, or like shut valves if there's a leak. Like, he manages the equipment. So when he was like he's like, I got to go out, check a release. And I was like, why are you going to do that? That's not your job. And he was just like, I need to go check out some of the equipment where the release occurred. Now, that part really didn't seem too odd to me. I mean, it makes sense that they're like, hey, we have a release. Send an operator out and make sure he said he had to do a lockout, tagout on this site. So that means that depending on where the release is, if it's near a piece of equipment that could be have like potential energy to be hazardous, what we do in the oil industry is what's called a lockout, tagout. And certified operators such as himself will go out there and they will pull a lock with a tag on the piece of equipment where you operate it, so that it cannot be in use. Like, they'll de-energize the piece of equipment and like shut it down, and then they'll put a lockout tag out on it. And then the point is, like, so then if the environmental team comes in to clean up the mess, nobody accidentally re-energizes this piece of equipment while we're trying to clean up the mess, because it could injure somebody. Does that make sense? Yes, I got it. Okay, so now I'm remembering this just now, and he's like, I think I gotta go do a lockout tagout on some of that equipment for the release. Would that be something that would have been tracked? Certainly, there's a lot of paperwork and safety requirements and all sorts of things with each site. So if he was actually going to do a lockout tagout, would that be something that I'd be able to look up at record at Anadarko and know that he was actually assigned to do that? To be honest with you, probably. Again, I did not work with him, but if there's one thing that I do know about Anadarko, and I love, and I'm going to miss those guys so much, it's the fact that they're very safe. Like, that is, they're one of the best oil and gas companies because of how safe they are. So with that being said, I would be willing to bet that there's typically, well, like you, a protocol. Right. So I mean that there would have to be a known problem for him to do a lockout tagout, right? Yes. So yes. Somebody would have had to call and said, there's a, in your guys' words, release at the site. Then some boss or whoever it may be would call Chris and say, hey, Chris, I need you to go check this out. If you're a skilled equipment operator, you make the decision. You lock it out if you have to. Then the environmental team comes and cleans it up. So there's got to be like a track. Yep. Record of all that's going on. I'm assuming that there's probably is, because lockout, tagout, because if, I mean, it's to save lives. So it's a very serious thing. Right. It's a safety thing. And like, certainly certain people, yeah, and like only certain people are authorized. And like, I couldn't lockout, tag out something. Like, I don't have, right, that certification. Plus you're shutting down. It's not a piece of equipment that makes money. So, yes, somebody wants to know that, right? Yes. Somebody there. Yes. There is it's a business. I'm just trying to think as a business person how they would do that, because certainly if you're doing that, they want to get the team out there and clean up whatever is going on as soon as possible. So they can get that piece of equipment back in order and running so they can continue to pump oil. Understood. Well, and the other thing too is he hadn't even looked at the site yet. So it's like, how do you know that you need to do a lockout tagout? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That's noted unintelligible. I mean, I would like to, it's something for me to investigate. I'm just trying to get because you obviously know a lot. Yeah, more about the oil industry. I don't know anything about it. That makes sense to me. And that's good. So that's good. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't even think of that till just now. So anyways, that is a question for Anadarko. That's not a question for me. Yup. So he told me he was going to have to do that. And I was like, all right, cool. So he didn't show up for work. I mean, well, he did show up for work on Monday, but supposedly he was in the field. And then Monday evening, after my friend Jim left, that's when Chris and I spoke on the phone in that first really extended conversation. Again, I don't know exactly what time it was. It was late, but that first really extended conversation, that's when he started kind of all that really creepy stuff. And then in that conversation, I started questioning him. And I was like, do you really? I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I asked him, I was like, did you really go to a job site this morning? And he was like, yeah. I was like, and who told you to go there? And I think he said his foreman had asked him to go, either him or his co-cowing man is this guy named Troy. I don't know Troy. I don't even know what he looks like, but I do know he exists. So I guess their foreman relies on Chris and Troy to kind of run their little part of the field. And so Chris was like, now, do you guys believe that she doesn't know Troy or doesn't know Troy exists? Because when we listen to Troy McCoy's interview, it certainly sounds like he knows her. He was like, yeah, my foreman asked either he or Troy go out there and go look at it. And do you know the foreman's name? I don't. He's got a few of them, I think. Okay. I want to say that's okay. I want to say Luke Epple, but I don't know. You're going to need to find that out with Anadarko too. Okay. That's an Anadarko question. That's all right. And I know who, but Luke is, and I know who Troy is, so probably have already answered that. Okay. All right. Yes. Great. So, so I told him to prove it because at this point, I mean, the things he'd been saying, like the sheets was kind of weird. You know what it was? It was a wedding ring comment that freaked me out. Like the sheets did, was kind of weird at the time. The fact that I thought he had just lied to me about their separation, but it was like the wedding ring comment. Like he was so callous. Like he was just ready to cash it in and get some money. You were telling me. And I was just like, him to prove what? To prove that they had told him to go to the field right away. Okay, so, and he's like, how do you want me to do that? And I was like, you take screenshots of your Anadarko phone and you text them to me. And did he do that? And yes, he did. Okay, all right. And he didn't send me the whole conversation, but there was 2 pictures of a release followed intermittently. There was text on either side of the picture. And it looked, I didn't get everything. He just sent me part of their conversation, and I didn't have dates and times on either. You couldn't see the dates and times of what he was sending me. So he could have been sending me something that was not recent. It could have been something from weeks ago, and I wouldn't have known, but he sent it to me, and he sent it quick. It just instantaneously when I asked him for it, I was still on the phone with him, and right. Then I looked at it while I was still on the phone, and it made sense of what he'd been saying, but okay. The only thing in there, yeah, like it almost looked like someone else was originally going to go to that site, and it looked like the conversation, someone, I interpreted it, the conversation that had with his foreman and with Troy or whoever was in that conversation. It looked like the conversation had occurred probably at some point over the weekend. And then it looked like Troy, I think, or somebody else in the field was originally going to go out there first thing on Monday, and he told them not to worry about it and that he would do it. Okay. And I don't know the exact words. Like, I don't have the whole conversation. Again, it's something that you need to go to Anadarko for that. Yep. Okay. What's next? And yes, well, then that was, and that conversation, that's the end of that. And then, okay. What else? Oh, okay. And then that same night, remember I told you we had that one big phone conversation that you and me just discussed. Then we FaceTime for like 2 minutes, right? And then we had another big phone conversation. Yep. So when we FaceTimed, I don't know. I don't know if it's relevant, but like you say, just say it anyways. He was wearing a black wife beater. I think it was black. And I told you guys that he was laying on a mattress that had no sheets. And so I've been in his house, but I've never been in his kids' room or the room where his wife slept. Like, I went upstairs once, but it was back to that little playroom where all the books are at, right? But I did not go into any of the rooms up there, like, ever. But I remember that time I did go upstairs. The bedroom door to the upstairs bedroom, like the main room, was open, and I really, like, I didn't want to look, but like just when I was walking by, I just noticed they have like a really big bed. Like it was like tall, pillory, just like a big bed frame. So I don't really know exactly what it looked like. I just looked like a quick glance or whatever. It's just like, that looks really big and nice, you know? Sure. But again, I didn't go in there, so I didn't get like a good view of it. But I noticed that the night that we were FaceTiming, I was trying to figure out where the hell he was, because I was like, he was laying down talking to me, and he didn't have any sheets on the bed. But the background didn't look like the basement. And I've seen the basement, and I've seen the bed in the basement. Like, I've seen his little dwelling area down there, and it didn't look like that. And I saw, it kind of looked like he was laying down and he had the phone like facing him, but you could kind of see in the background, like the bed, and it looked like a really elegant, really tall bed frame. So you think it was a master bedroom? Yes, I do. Okay. I think it was. I didn't ask, but I'm assuming it was, and just no sheets on there. Okay. Like, I remember the mattress. If I remember properly, I think it was blue, but I don't remember 100%. But he was just like laying on it in a black wife beater. And I just remember like seeing this, and again, like, I've never been in the room, so I don't know. Okay. 100% like, oh, that was it. It kind of looked like something very elegant, and it definitely was not in the basement. Okay, what's next? Keeping you on track. I'm trying to go in order. I think that's it. Okay. I think that's all I've got. So I asked you a couple of questions when I was driving, when we talked earlier today, and since we weren't, okay, on tape, I'm just going to ask, okay, which was when I called you after we looked at your phone download and told you that the messages you deleted, like right now, they don't look like, I can't see them, so I'm trying to recover them. Like I told you though, some computer forensics. We'll see if we can get that done. but one of the questions I had for you was if you ever had social media, and you said you did not. So no, you don't use. I don't. Any social media. You've never used Facebook or Facebook Messenger with Chris? No, nothing. I never used any social media with him at all. I have LinkedIn when him and I first started hanging out for business purposes, but it was something like I was like never on. And then honestly, once all of this news media stuff and everything started happening, I deleted the LinkedIn. So that's it. It's harder for these people to try to come track me down and ask me a million questions. But I never ever spoke to him on that. I don't even think he has it. I don't even know. I never used it. Okay. And then, so I don't know. But as far as actual social media, I haven't had any of the other stuff like Twitter. I never had Twitter. I never had Instagram. I haven't had Facebook since 2016. So no, him and I never had any connection on any social media. Do you know when he closed his Facebook? No, I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot to write that down the other day. He mentioned to me on Saturday when we were at dinner. I think it was either when we were talking in the restaurant or walking out of the restaurant. Okay, what did he say? He just offhandedly was like, oh, I shut down Facebook. And I was like, what? Why? And he's like, 'cause I'm never really on there. He's like, she used to be on there all the time for work. And he's like, but I don't need it. And he just it was very random, nonchalant comment. And I was, so do you was surprised. Oh, and then no. And then I asked him, I said, did you shut it down all the way? And he kind of gave me this puzzled look. I was like, you have to actually write Facebook a letter. I mean, not a letter, but you need to send them an email. You can't just deactivate it. I was like, you need to send them an email that says, I'm so-and-so, and I want you to shut down my account. So what was his response to that? I don't remember what he said to me. So do you think I really don't. Just deactivated it? I don't think he did it. Not shut it down? That's what I think he did. Okay. But I don't think I don't even think he knew that he hadn't completely gotten rid of it. Okay. Because I've done it. So I know what you have to do it. Okay. Anything else? No, but that was just kind of offhanded that you mentioned that. So yeah. Okay. But we never talked on Facebook. And then I ask you if necessary, if for some reason I need to get your phone, that you would be willing to provide me the handset if necessary, and you were in agreement to that. Yeah, I mean, you guys just give me something else so I can get a hold of people in my life that I need to get a hold of. That's fine. Okay. Can I have it back when you guys are done though? I mean, if you need to keep it, I can go get another phone if I have to. Well, we can work that out should that come up. I'm okay. Still waiting. Okay. Waiting for a call from the computer forensic expert to okay. Give me an idea. Because of your phone's an iPhone, which makes, and my knowledge of this is that if you deleted something off an iPhone, it's gone. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, so I asked you to call Verizon because that's your provider. And so if they could give me some advice on that, did you happen to do that? I did. So I got on their online chat and I saved that in case for some reason you guys need it. You can see that I asked them. I was able to, they told me that there's several cloud storage devices. They said that Verizon has a cloud, and iPhone has a cloud. And I checked, and of course, my iPhone cloud backup is not it's not active. Okay. So go figure. I don't pay any attention to that stuff. I really don't. Well, that's why I asked you if you used any cloud stuff earlier. So none of that was active? No, that was not. And then I asked them, they're like, well, your phone works with Verizon iCloud. And I was like, well, how do I activate that? Like, how do I open that? Open that? Where do I find that in my phone? And he's like, oh, it's an app. You have to download the app. And I was like, well, is anything from previous conversations going to be on there if I haven't downloaded the app yet? And he said, no. Okay. But I'll let you guys look at the conversation and my phone and maybe, no. You guys can figure something out. It makes perfect sense to me that I can't. I know exactly what they're saying. So that was their only. So they were saying if you had the cloud, it would have been backed up to the cloud. But since you didn't, the messages are gone. Yeah. And my iPhone cloud is not backing anything up either. Right. So okay. It's just not active. So I'm really sorry about that, but that's okay. On a good note, so then I found this thing under data usage. I'll show you. I was going to bring my laptop in when I come. Not that you need anything off of there, but just so I can like show you my Verizon account, and maybe we can see if we can dig up some stuff on there. But I found messages, and it wasn't the actual body of the text message, but it was like the date and time and the phone. Okay. Number that went to it, and I received it, and I got really excited. I was like, oh my God, it's a message log. And even if it wasn't the body of the message, it would probably help us figure out what's missing and what's not. And I was super excited. And then I started scrolling through it and realized that the last ones they have are from August 14th. So I think they keep them for a week and then they get rid of them. Okay, so did you screenshot that? I wish I would have known that 2 days ago. What's that? Did you take a screenshot of that or anything like that? I mean, I can if you want me to, or is it in your, is that in your personal Verizon account? Yes. Yeah, so it would, yeah, so would you just like print that page or something for me? Because in the event that they are, computer generation deletion, if there is something there, I'd like to try to save it as much as we can. Well, I mean, I wish you guys would have told me this like 2 days ago, because if they're only saving, it looks like they're not saving the body of the messages. It looks like, right, like what they're doing is saving the date and time. It's like a timestamp for the text message, sure. And who they came from, it looks like they're only saving them for a week, like, right? Because he knows that. And she knows this too because she researched it. Okay, I'm not going to interject again. Back to Kesinger. Today they went from 8:14, August 14th, and I'm afraid that if I wait, tomorrow they'll only be able to go back to 8:15, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you print those tonight, and that'd be great. Just like, I know, I was so bummed. I was like, the 2 days I needed, like right before they were cut off. Yeah, that's okay. I think we're going to be okay with what we have. Like I said, I'm just trying to make sure we have as much info as possible. And sometimes it takes a little extra bit of work to get that information, but I'm okay with that because it could be very important later on down the line. It could be very important now. But you just don't want to lose it. I agree. Well, and it's like, I know that sometimes like I miss some things, but also like I want you guys to see those texts because maybe there's something important there that I can't even think of, Sure. Or not only that, but like it validates everything that I'm saying to you guys, right? Okay. Well, I'm going to work on those texts. Like I said, I'm going to talk to the agent who is kind of the lead agent on the case, and I think that she's going to want to sit down with you and kind of like go through the context of the messages to get a better idea, you know, because text messages are just words. We don't know what was said before that in a phone conversation, or what might have been followed up in a phone conversation, or what prompted a text message to be sent, either from a prior meeting or something like that. So it'll be very helpful. I don't think that's going to happen this week because I know she's super busy. So just be patient with that. That information isn't going anywhere. We have that retained, and I appreciate you saying that you'll cooperate in doing that. No, I mean, I really, really want to help you guys. I mean, I have no reason not to help you guys. I can't even believe that he's trying to blame this on his wife. I can't imagine like how hard he's making this on the family right now. It just makes me so sad. It's so sad. Right. All right. Well, keep taking notes as new things come to mind. Okay, but I was going to tell you, I did get my phone log, okay? I got everything through the 13th. It was on my last month's billing statement, so I got a PDF of that. I did save it. It's on my desktop. It shows all of my incoming and outgoing in it, and it shows like where it was generated from. So like if I was at work, it shows like Platteville, and if I was home, it says Thornton. Like, sure. I've got those. Do you have my email address on my business card? Okay, you want me to just email it to you? That'd be great. Then okay, then that would be the easiest for both of us. Okay, then my next billing cycle start on the 14th. So if you guys want if you want phone records from the 14th, they're not like in this nice PDF because they haven't billed me for it yet. They're like in this weird shitty Excel file, and I tried to like open it and like make it user friendly and readable, and I don't feel like it's an Excel sheet. I don't know. It's fine. Yeah. What to do with it? I mean, I know what it's in. It'll be fine. You can send it to me however you have it. So you want the Excel? Okay, so do you want the Excel sheet too? Because like I said, sure. I have the PDF copy goes, yep, through the 13th. Then the Excel is like that. Sheet is like 14th on, but the dates don't show up on the Excel sheet when I downloaded it. I don't know what I gotta look and see. Okay. If I can get that to work. And if it doesn't work, I mean, at the end of the billing cycle, which will be in probably like 3 weeks or so, then I can give you the 14th. Yup. You know what I mean? And then you can just send me everything that you have off of this most recent. And then when your bill comes in, if you're remember to just send that to me. And we're getting those records, but again, I always like to ask, they're your records, so I always ask for you to share those with me. That way, it shows cooperation, number one. Let me say it again. It shows cooperation, number one. Number two, if we don't have something, then I'd have to go back and write a warrant to get it. Number two, if we don't have something, then I'd have to go back and write a warrant to get it. You're consenting to give it that stuff me, and it's helpful to our investigation, and that's all we really care about. I know, and I want you guys, to do the best you can. And so any way that I can help, I'm really disappointed about those texts. I just honestly, that wasn't the first thing on my mind when I deleted them. I was just like, I was so disgusted with him. I was like, I don't even want to look at this. You need to go away from my life, right now. And I just, boom, got rid of it. Okay. I didn't even realize oh my God, these guys are going to need these. It's okay. You didn't know. We've talked about this. Don't beat yourself up about the text. We'll figure it out. It's noted that it's unintelligible. Okay. All right. I'm hoping we can recover most of them. I think I had one more thing to say to you. I don't know. The media is like really noted unintelligible. Today it's crazy. After I got off the phone with you, I literally probably got like numerous phone calls from friends and numerous texts from people saying that the media is like coming to their house and asking them questions. So I don't know. I must be hiding out pretty well because good. They're going to great lengths. Like I've had people that I haven't talked to in like a year trying to contact me, like people like old coworkers I hardly even know, like, hey, are you okay? Well, just continue to do what you're doing and your choice whether to talk to them or not. And you don't have to talk to them if you don't want to. And just like we said before, your dad is probably your best ally in this, and hopefully he'll take some of the brunt. These people phoning and tell them to go away if that's your wishes. And then go from there. But stay in touch with me. If you go somewhere, like, you know, if you're going to leave the state or whatever, just make sure you let me know your phone number and address where if I have to send you legal correspondence, you know, I could send that to you, okay? I will definitely do that. I've already discussed the situation with my dad. Where it's like, you know, I really need to see what's going on with my employer B. And I think I kind of want to wait until a lot of this media stuff happens and figure out like who is safe to give my new phone number to and who is. And right now, I don't have an answer for that. So I'm just kind of rolling with the number I have. So we will see. And your number is like that information available to the defense and prosecution. When I write if you change your number, it is available to, I have to generate a report, so that goes out in discovery. So that could be something they would see. Now, whether or not they share with the media or not, I mean, I'm not concerned that the prosecutor's office is going to. I know my office isn't going to. So just keep that in mind. You know, changing your stuff, you're almost obligated. In fact, I'll tell you, you are to keep me updated because you are a witness and you are critical in this case. So we know how to, if somebody, you know, an attorney needed to get you for a hearing or something, how to get in touch with you. And that's really, it's about, it's not just us keeping track of you or any of that stuff. So just remember that. Oh, and I would definitely keep you guys in loop. I mean, okay, good. And I guess my last question is, how long does it usually take for them to find people? Because I feel like I'm pretty stashed away because of how I've kept my information for the last few years. I think has I done me some justice? I don't know. I mean, it just depends. I think if sooner or later, I mean, you can always find somebody. I'll tell you that. Now they have a lot of money and they have a lot of resources and they have a big desire to figure out who you are. So, right. I mean, I do think at some point that you're going to have to tell them no comment, or I don't want to talk to you or give you another statement, whatever you decide. Yeah, I do. And when I don't know, I mean, that's a personal thing for you and your family. How you guys want to decide to deal with that, and maybe even, you know, with legal counsel at some point, you might want to have somebody just say, hey, leave my client alone. You know, I don't know. And maybe that's just your dad. Your dad seemed very concerned and willing to help when we met last week. And maybe he's just the right person to answer the questions or, you know, to tell the media, look, my daughter's not interested in talking to anyone. Stop. You know, I don't know. And it's not really a great question for me. I'd like to tell you, I mean, I know what I would do, but I can't tell you what to do. Do you know what I mean? That was crystal clear. Right. Oh, only, right. You can make that choice. Okay. So, but you're okay, understood. To answer your question, I think if they want to find you, they're not going to stop until they do. I really do. No, I agree. I think I'm impressed with the lengths that they're going to right now. It's kind of nice, but they haven't done it yet. They've been looking for 2 days and they've been unsuccessful. Well, hopefully, if you want to stay hidden, you will. And if I can help you in any way, not with that stuff because I'm not really able to do that, but the rest of the stuff, I told you you could talk to Hazel, and it sounds like that stuff is going great. If anything new comes up, don't hesitate to call me. Don't think like you're bothering me or this is a problem. This is what I do. This is very important, getting all this down. Okay. And getting a record of it is very important. Okay. So don't hesitate to call me. Okay, and then my question, can they release my name to the papers, no information on me? I'm sure that they're trying to put 2 and 2 together at this point. I feel like that it would be a very bold statement to be like, who is this? And it was that they have no idea. I mean, so they can do anything they want to. It's their repercussions for doing anything, of course. I don't think they're gonna be cautious. I think that media really, they get involved in all these cases and they don't report something until they know accurately, especially names. Because if let's say that your name is, Nikki, somebody else, and you're the wrong person. Do they open themselves up to exposure for a lawsuit by slandering somebody's name? Absolutely. So I don't think that you need to worry about that. I do think like I told you this morning, there are some warrants that have gone out. I do believe that they're sealed, that do have your name on it because of the phone information. Some of the stuff between you and Chris, your name is in those. Now those are sealed. When those come unsealed, I don't know. That's a judge's decision, not mine. So a judge can continue to keep that sealed for the length of the investigation. But if he wants to, because it protects our investigation by not releasing information, and that's the purpose of that, is so people don't know what we're doing, so the media can't dig and find out what we're doing. And they can't cause damage to the case that we're building. That could go on forever. So I don't really have an answer for that. I don't know how long. Okay, it varies. Depending on the judge and some legal decisions. Okay, all right. Well, I hang in there. Appreciate your time, and if anything comes up, I will let you know. Okay, but hopefully that is the end of it, and great. I will send you that record just for this month, and I'll see if I can. Okay, I'm getting tired of hearing me read her voice. So can you guys hear me okay? I don't have a mic hooked up, but just let me know that you can hear me okay. So as you can tell, there were a lot of important things that were discussed in that interview, primarily after the point when the interview was redacted or when the audio just dropped out. So the question is, was it just a glitch? Like there was also just an apparent glitch in the last phone interview, or was that intentional? Thank you, Local Jazz Hands. Hey, Justice A through Z Saves Lives. How are you doing? I personally think it was intentional because in both interviews, it is very interesting when the audio happens to cut out and then she discloses very important information. So I did just provide a link. Some of you were talking about the idea that she was protected by the FBI, by law enforcement. The last video that I dropped just a few days ago, it has a sound improved version of the interview with the FBI because that's when they were in the park. And seriously, the audio sucks. I did the best I could with it. I didn't get it done professionally like I have with a couple other interviews because I asked my computer guy about it and he was like, this audio is kind of so bad at a lot of points. It would take a lot. Like it would have been really super, super, super freaking expensive. And I don't know if we would have been able to hear any information better. If that were the case, I would have done it. It just would have been more of an situation of ease on your ears. But, I only have so much of a budget to do things like that. But I did improve the sound. But in the beginning of it, the first 20 minutes or so, I did break down that protected identity status. I had been looking into information about it for a very long time. Couldn't find it. I just recently came across what it was that we needed to know. So I am going to wrap this up because I am super tired. And then that was a long phone interview, wasn't it? So we've been on for like 2.5 hours now, but I am going to do a members only live stream tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So be looking for that. And welcome to all the new members. Thank you, Coffee, Honey Bun, and Sherry, who gifted memberships during the live stream today. Thank you to everybody who is here. Those of you that supported the channel through super chats and such, to subscribers, to members, to those of you just dropping by, please do, become a member. We'd love for you to come back. You can always change your mind, So be ready for the members live stream tomorrow night. And also, I put as a members only sort of preview the beginning of my Sherry Papini video part 1. I'm doing a deep dive into the Sherry Papini case. I've covered it before. Some of you may know just recently on ID and Max, there's a 4-part docu-series on Sherry Papini that has her perspective. Not so much her ex-husband's perspective, but like his sister, for example, that was pretty shocking. Her parents, her friends. The lead FBI investigator on the case has retired and talks in that docuseries. And from the perspective of a behavioral therapist, which is what I am by profession, I had a whole lot to discuss with you guys about that. So I hope you are interested in the case. So be looking forward to that as well. And if you're a member, members live stream tomorrow night at 8. And thank you guys so much for being here. It was wonderful reading all of your comments and chatting with you guys. You guys are so important to me. I appreciate all of you. And just thank you so much for being here and for everything. And remember, guys, life is hard. So please, please, please do be good to one another. And I'm glad you can make it tonight, Ashley K. And especially, please be good to yourself because you absolutely deserve it. And I want the best for you guys. So do something good for yourself tonight, tomorrow. But please remember and do that for yourself because you do deserve it. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow night at the members only live stream or very, very soon.
It's me. I guess just call me back when you have a chance. Hi. Hi. It's me. I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back.
Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I'm having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me, and I'm glad that you're having a blast. I am so out of breath.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm really trying to help you guys. I need you guys to help me too. Like,
Yes,
we'll
ma'am.
do this as a team, but just don't
So
fucking let me down,
the
please.
reason why we can't, like, I did think about this yesterday that I would like to sit down with you once we have your text messages and the phone calls, and we can put them in a some type of easily looking, that we can sit down and look at them and compare them, and we can kind of get the context of how everything was going that night. I would like to do that with you. Unfortunately, so the download that we got yesterday is going to take multiple days to be analyzed. I probably won't have it back till next week. And then because you guys did have so many text messages, one of my analysts is working on getting those in order, so we can put something together where we can actually sit down and discuss it. But I do think that's something that I want to do in the near future, sometime probably next week.
I mean, I can do that. I don't mind giving you guys my time. I just need you guys to like help me with my employer and try to just help me brace for this media thing.
I'm with you. We definitely need to accelerate the case because the more it takes, the less sure that they are of situations.
He murdered her. She's out of the picture. You're never going to know if she was pregnant. If he can get away with murder, you're not going to. I got divorced from my wife. You say, do you understand what I'm saying here? If she's gone,
But this...
Don't lead,
hypothetically,
please.
yeah,
Don't lead
hypothetically,
on.
if she,
Okay.
you understand where I'm going. If
Right,
you
but you're-
didn't know,
You're leading into questions that are nothing with your.
if you didn't know though
Wait, Nick.
that she was there,
Did you hear what I said?
I'm following you.
Stop asking about it. She didn't have anything to do with it. She wasn't there that morning. She voluntarily cooperated with law enforcement. She provided us all the information. I'm not going to tell you where she's at. Stop. Leave me alone.